ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 3, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations, Text 34. यद्येषोपरता देवी माया वैशारदी मतिः सम्पन्न एवेति विदुः महिम्नि स्वे महीयते. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charanaраvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Srila Sutta Goswami continued. If the illusory energy subsides and the living entity becomes fully enriched with knowledge by the grace of the Lord, then he becomes at once enlightened with self realization and thus becomes situated in his own glory. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Because the Lord is in the absolute transcendence, all of his forms, names, pastimes, attributes, associates, and energies are identical with him. His transcendental energy acts according to his omnipotency. The same energy acts as his external, internal, and marginal energies, and by his omnipotency, he can perform anything and everything through the agency of any of the above energies. He can turn the external energy into internal by his will. Therefore, by his grace, the external energy which is employed in illusioning those living beings who want to have it subsides by the will of the Lord in terms of repentance and penance for the conditioned soul. And the very same energy then acts to help the purified living being make progress on the path of self realization. The example of electrical energy is very appropriate in this connection. The expert electrician can utilize the electrical energy for both heating and cooling by adjustment only. Similarly, the external energy, which now bewilders the living being into continuation of birth and death, is turned into internal potency by the will of the Lord to lead the living being to eternal life. When a living being is thus graced by the Lord, he is placed in his proper constitutional position to enjoy eternal spiritual life. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, in this shloka, a very important point is conveyed by Srila Sutta Goswami to all of us. Let us try to understand the point. Yadi yeshaha, yadi esha uparata devi. Here, Maya is addressed as Devi, because it is Daivi energy of the Lord. It is a divine energy of the Lord. As Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. The energy, the illusion which is acting on all of us in this material world, it is not an ordinary energy. but it is the divine energy of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So here Maya is addressed as Devi. Yadi, if Eshaha, Esha, they, Uparata, subsided, Devi Maya, illusory energy, Vaisharadi, full of knowledge, Matihi, enlightenment, Sampannaha, enriched with, Eva, certainly, Iti, thus, Viduhu, being cognizant of, Mahimni, in the glories, sway of the self, Mahiyate, being situated in. Yadi Esha Uparata Devi Maya Vaisharadi Matihi Sampanna Eveti. So here Sutta Goswami is saying, Yadi, if the Maya, which is actually covering all of us, if it is Uparata means if it is subsided, if we become free from the effect of this Maya, if we get rid of this Maya, then what will happen? We become Vaisharadi Matihi. Matihi means intelligence, right? Vai, Vaisharadi Matihi means we become established in knowledge and enlightenment. Sampannaha, enriched with knowledge and enlightenment. That means as long as we are under the influence of Maya, we are not enlightened. We cannot be called as enlightened, even though we may be materially highly educated. But if we are under the covering of Maya, then we are foolish. Why we are foolish? Because we don't know, under the influence of Maya, we will not be able to know our own position. Forget about knowing about this world, knowing about Krishna. We cannot know about our own selves as long as we are influenced by Maya. So, therefore, Suta Goswami is telling the moment we become free from the influence of this divine energy, Maya, then we become endowed with all knowledge and enlightenment. We will get to know about ourselves. Eveti vidur mahimni sve mahiyate. Mahimni means cognizant of the glories. Viduhu means to be cognizant. We become cognizant. Cognizant means we become aware about our own self. And thus, Sve Mahimni Sampanna Mahiyate, we become situated in our own glory. What is the glory of the individual spirit soul? The glory of the individual spirit soul, each one of us, is that we have a unique, loving relationship with Krishna. That is the speciality of every jiva. Every jiva has got a unique relationship with Krishna. Unique means irreplaceable. The kind of relationship that X soul has with the Lord cannot be replaced, cannot be experienced by Y soul. The Y soul will have another kind of a unique relationship with Krishna. So that is the glory of each and every living entity. Each and every living entity, each one of us, we have a unique loving relationship with Krishna. That means in the spiritual world, even though the Lord is constantly served by innumerable liberated souls out of love and devotion, Krishna is actually missing each one of us. Even though he is surrounded by innumerable living entities and they're all serving the Lord in various ways, but Lord is missing our service because the service that each one of us can do, that nobody else can do. This is a very important thing that Srila Prabhupada reveals, the Acharyas reveal. Each one of us have a unique relationship with Krishna, irreplaceable. So, Krishna is missing each one of us. So, the moment we become free from the influence of Maya, then we can understand, oh, actual loving relationship is possible only with the Lord. I was actually looking for love in the wrong place, in a wrong way. But real love is only with the Lord. It is possible only with the Lord. This we can understand, and we can become established in our eternal loving service in our original constitutional position. That is the meaning of being situated in our true glory. Mahimni Swe Mahiyate. Sutta Goswami is saying we can become situated in our own glory when we attain this enlightenment, self realization about our own relationship with Krishna. So, right now, we are all trying to enjoy, we are all trying to attain satisfaction in a wrong way. The process that we are following is wrong. Why? Yesterday, we had discussed about this. Because the first understanding about ourselves is wrong. We are thinking we are this body, and based on this assumption, we are conducting our life. Therefore, everything that we do in our life, based on this wrong assumption about ourselves, that is going to simply lead to more and more miseries, more and more ignorance about ourselves. So, therefore, it is important for us to uh, become quickly re-established in our original position. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jiver Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nitya Dasa. We are eternally servants of Krishna. That is our original constitutional position. And very soon, the sooner we realize this, the sooner we become established in loving service to the Lord under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master, the better for us. Because Anadi Karma Phale Pade Bhavarnava Jale, one of the Vaishnava Acharyas explains in one song that from Anadi Kala, from time immemorial, we are in this ocean of material existence, and sometimes we are drowning, sometimes we are floating, in different species of life. Sometimes we are going to deep ignorance in lower species of life. Sometimes we are coming to human form of life. But because we don't have proper understanding, no proper guidance, even after getting human form of life, we are engaging in sense gratification. So like this, we are suffering life after life without idea about our original position, about how to attain real happiness. But in this lifetime, by Krishna's mercy, we have come in touch with Srila Prabhupada, and simply by following the instructions given by Srila Prabhupada, we can become situated in our original transcendental position of serving Krishna. So, unless we come to this realization and unless we become situated in devotional service to the Lord, we cannot experience real happiness. So, that is the point which is again and again mentioned in the Bhagavatam. This is a very important thing. So, some things when they are repeated, we should not think that, oh, why is this Bhagavatam repeating the same thing every now and then? It is repeating because we need to hear it again and again. There is one nice analogy in Sanskrit. There is a subhashita. There is a saying, uh, sthuna nikanana nyaya. It is called. Sthuna means a pillar. Sometimes for some functions or get-togethers, in front of people's houses, they will put a shamiana arrangement. If you have seen, right? Some mantapa or some covering so that people can, who have all have come for the function, they can all sit there. They put some extra chairs, all such things. Now, to put those shamianas or to put that, um, some mantapa kind of thing, they need to dig holes and put pillars, isn't it? Big wooden bamboo or long wooden pieces, pillars will be put. Now, what does a person do if you have noticed how they actually put this pillar? First, they dig a hole, dig a bigger hole, and then they keep this pillar in the center, and by the sides, they start filling that gap. They start putting more stones and they put, sand, mud, and all of those things. And while they are doing that, That person keeps shaking that pillar again and again. He shakes the pillar. Huh? And when he sees that the pillar is shaking, then he puts more, you know, uh, supporting material, to make it strongly standing. So he keeps on shaking that pillar in between and keeps checking whether it is going to fall or not, like that. So what is his idea? His idea of shaking the pillar every now and then is not to make that pillar fall away. The idea is to check whether the pillar is able to support itself, whether it is able to strongly stand and support the structure. That is the idea. In the same way, we have to hear Krishna Katha, we have to hear the principles, basic principles, fundamental principles of Krishna consciousness again and again and again. Just like that person is shaking the pillar again and again and again to check whether it is strong or not. So we have to keep hearing these statements. We are not the body, we are spirit soul. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. We are his eternal servants. We have to engage in his devotional service. We have to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. These things we have to keep hearing again and again. Why? It is like checking ourselves how much we are situated in practicing these basic principles in our daily life. We should not simply think, oh, the same thing they are telling again and again. If you see Prabhupada lectures, if you hear Prabhupada lectures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the same set of basic things Prabhupada keeps repeating again and again. Why? To make our foundation strong. If see, Krishna consciousness is very, very simple. It is based on these foundational principles, which we have to properly understand, not just theoretically, but practically we have to implement in our life. We are not the body, we are soul. Every now and then we should keep, reminding, because Maya is so strong. Maya makes us think that, oh, soul is not visible. What is really visible is the body. So you are the body. If you look at your face in the mirror, where is the soul visible? Soul is not visible. It is the body which is visible. So what is visible is reality. Maya makes us think like that. Seeing is believing. This is the principle of Maya. But seeing makes us come under Maya, but hearing makes us free from Maya. This is very important. Unless we hear Krishna Katha on a daily basis and we understand these fundamental principles properly, we cannot become free from Maya's influence. So just like Maya is every day preaching to us, you are not, you are the body, you are the body, real happiness is material happiness, bodily happiness. Prabhupada is also continuously preaching to us, you are not the body, you are not the body. Your spirit soul, your part and parcel of Krishna. Real happiness is to serve Krishna. So these principles are uh, again and again mentioned in the Bhagavatam in different contexts. So even though this chapter is called Incarnations of the Supreme Lord, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. We have discussed about different 22 incarnations of the Lord in this chapter. From several days we have been discussing. But towards the end of this chapter, this point is again repeated that we are not the body, we are soul. So, in order to come out of these bodily concept of life, we need to hear Bhagavatam. We need to understand the difference between our body and Krishna's body. Krishna's body is never changing, it is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. But our body is continuously subjected to changes. It is matter. So we have to realize these points. How to realize these things? Simply by hearing again and again, and by chanting the holy names of the Lord, and by engaging in devotional service in the association of devotees. So when we do this, all the wrong understanding about ourselves will go away, and the right understanding will come, will emerge in our consciousness. So here Suta Goswami is saying, unless we become free from the influence of Maya, it is not possible to understand ourselves. It is not possible to attain self realization. So, that is the point which is mentioned here. So, now the question is, uh, how does this external and internal energy, how do they act? We keep hearing about this, no? External energy, internal energy. How do they act? So Prabhupada is writing here very nicely. His transcendental energy acts according to his omnipotency. The same energy acts as his external, internal, and marginal energies, and by his omnipotency, he can perform anything and everything through the agency of any of the above energies. He can turn the external energy into internal by his will. Therefore, by his grace, the external energy which is employed in illusioning those living beings who want to have it subsides by the will of the Lord in terms of repentance and penance for the conditioned soul. So, the same energy, Krishna's energy is one, but that energy can act differently according to the desire of the conditioned soul. Right? So, Krishna's energy is one, but that energy acts on us according to our desires, according to our uh, desire to either serve the Lord or forget the Lord. If we want to forget the Lord, that energy will act as external energy, make us forget the Lord. Why it is called external energy? Because it makes us believe that the external reality of this world, external happiness that we can see in this world is true. It makes us Krishna Bahirmukha. Bahirmukha means it makes us turn our face away from Krishna. Krishna is seated in our heart as Paramatma. Instead of focusing on the Lord in the heart, we turn our face away from the Lord. We start becoming busy in engaging in external activities of sense gratification. That is the influence, that is how Maya acts on us. So, suppose at a given moment of time, we are more interested in external enjoyment, bodily enjoyment, than understanding Krishna. That means we have forgotten Krishna, then we should know we are under the influence of Maya. Right? And if we are interested more in serving Krishna, understanding Krishna, chanting his holy names more intently, then we should know we are under the influence of internal energy of the Lord. So, based on our desire, the energy will act. So, Prabhupada is giving one example. Electrical energy is one, but an expert electrician can make the electrical energy work in different ways. The same electrical energy in refrigerator produces cooling effect, whereas the same electrical energy in iron box produces heating effect. So energy is one, but based on the device, based on the principle behind which the device is made and it is operating, the same electrical energy can produce different effects. In the same way, energy of the Lord is one, but it acts differently on pure devotees and on materialistic people. It acts differently. For pure devotees, that energy helps them in facilitating to serve Krishna more and more, remember Krishna more and more. Whereas for the materialistic people who are desiring sense enjoyment, that same energy makes them forget Krishna. So, this is the effect of Maya. So, now if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mamivaye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. If we surrender to Krishna, then Krishna can convert that external energy into internal energy for us. That same energy which was making us forget Krishna now will start acting favorably to remember Krishna and to serve Him. So that means we have to desire strongly to serve Krishna, to surrender to Krishna, and we must engage ourselves in activities which will help us to surrender to Krishna, those activities which are told by the spiritual master, we have to engage in those activities. Then the Maya's influence will go away. Then we become established in self realization. There is one nice example given in the Krishna book in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam to demonstrate the fact how the same energy acts differently on different people, on pure devotee and on materialistic people, how the same energy acts differently. There is a nice example given. We all know this pastime of Krishna appearing in the midnight in the prison house of Kamsa. Devaki gives birth to this baby boy, Krishna, on the Ashtami Tithi. And that time, simultaneously, a baby girl is born to Yashoda Mai in Gokul at the same time. And that baby girl is none other than Yoga Maya, the internal energy of Krishna. That is Yoga Maya. Now, as soon as Krishna, baby Krishna appears, he appears in his original four-handed form, in his spiritual form, to give assurance to Devaki and Vasudeva that now the Lord has appeared, they need not fear the wicked Kamsa. And then Krishna tells Vasudeva, please take me from here and please make sure that you please take me and send me, keep me in the house of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai in Gokul. And Yashoda Mai has given birth to a baby girl. Bring that girl with you here. Like this, Krishna advises. And Vasudeva, being a completely surrendered soul, pure devotee, he agrees. He follows this instruction. So Krishna takes, I mean, Vasudeva takes baby Krishna from prison house of Mathura all the way. He crosses the ocean, crosses the river Yamuna, goes to Gokul, keeps the baby there, and Yashoda Mai would have given birth to a baby girl, and Vasudeva brings that baby girl with him back to the prison house of Mathura. After this, Kamsa gets to know that Devaki has given birth to the eighth child, the much awaited child, because according to the Akashvani, the eighth child of Devaki will be the cause of his death. So he was so much afraid of this eighth child. So he comes and he gets to know that it is a baby girl. But still, even though Devaki pleads Kamsa so much, this is only a girl. She will not be able to do anything to you. Please leave her. But the cruel Kamsa says, who knows, this may be another trick of Vishnu. He might have come in the form of this girl and he may kill me. I don't want to take chance. So what he does, he takes hold of that girl, newborn baby girl, and tries to dash that girl to the prison wall. And at that time, the girl escapes from his hands. And she appears in the sky as Durga Devi, with 8 hands she appears and she holds 8 different weapons in her various hands. So the Acharyas explain until Vasudeva was handling that baby, she was actually Yogamaya. The moment Kamsa handled that baby, that Yogamaya became converted to Mahamaya, Durga Devi, and she appeared in her 8-armed form, Ashtabhuja Devi. She appeared. And she told, you foolish Kamsa, there is no use of killing me. The person, the child who is supposed to kill you, he's appeared, he's safe elsewhere. Saying like this, she disappears. So the Acharyas explain, see how the Yoga Maya got converted to Mahamaya the moment uh, Kamsa touched the baby. It's a very important point for us. Huh? Prabhupada explains money, for example, money. So if the money is in the hands of a devotee who is surrendered to the Lord, he never considers that money to be for his own enjoyment. He utilizes all the money to serve Krishna, isn't it? So that money cannot become a cause of bondage for a devotee who is engaged in the Lord's service. But if the same money goes into the hands of a materialistic person, what does a materialistic person think when he sees the money? He thinks that, oh, this money, so nice. I can purchase so many objects for my sense enjoyment. I can enjoy in so many ways with this money. He thinks like that and he starts spending that money for personal enjoyment. So then that money becomes a cause of bondage. So the same money can produce two different effects based on the consciousness of the person who is handling it. It's a very important concept. We have to understand this. If the money is used for material pleasures, that becomes cause of bondage. But if that money is engaged in Krishna's service, then it is Lakshmi. Then it brings us liberation, isn't it? Srila Prabhupada gives another example, right? Sita, Mother Sita, she is the consort of Lord Ramachandra, and she is supposed to be serving Lord Ramachandra, right? But this Ravana, who is a materialistic person, he thought, such a beautiful woman, I should be the rightful enjoyer of this woman. Thinking like that, he actually kidnaps Mother Sita. But we understand from the various authoritative scriptures that Ravana could not actually get hold of the real Sita. He only got Chaya Sita, Shadow Sita, or Maya Sita, he got, and took her to Lanka. And because of this, so his policy is what? Separating Rama from Sita, separating Lakshmi from Narayana. That is the policy of Ravana. So what happened because of that? His whole kingdom was burnt. He and all his brothers, his relatives, his sons, his entire army, everything was destroyed in the war. Finally, he became fully destroyed. Whereas there is another person in the same Ramayana, that is Hanumanji. What is his policy? Hanumanji's policy is how to unite Mother Sita with Rama. So he worked hard. He did everything that is required. He utilized all his powers given to him by the Lord to unite Mother Sita with Rama, isn't it? So he became a liberated soul by doing this. Whenever we glorify Ramachandra, we also glorify Hanumanji. His fame became in par with Rama's fame, isn't it? So, two personalities and two different approaches. Ravana's policy is to separate Sita from Rama and try to enjoy for himself, and that led to his own destruction. Whereas Hanumanji's policy is to unite Sita with Rama, and that led to his eternal fame. So we have to understand that the same energy can act differently on different personalities according to their choices, their mentality, and their consciousness. So, right now, we are under the influence of Maya, external energy, but when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, when we uh, take association of devotees, when we understand this Krishna conscious philosophy and try to apply it in our daily life sincerely, then Krishna can change that external energy into internal energy, and he can facilitate us remembering Krishna more and more, and he can take us back to Godhead. Hmm? This is what Krishna says in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. He says that whoever engages in my devotional service constantly, to them Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. To them, I give the intelligence by which they can come back to me. So, all that we should do is we should sincerely endeavor to practice bhakti the way Srila Prabhupada has instructed us. Sincerely, we should endeavor. Then Krishna can actually change the influence of external energy, which is bewildering us, and he can turn it into internal energy and take us back to Godhead for an eternal life full of knowledge and bliss. So, this is what Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. Let us go to the next shloka, text number 35. Evam janmani karmani hiya kartur ajanasya cha varnayanti sma kavayo veda guhyani hritpatehe. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Srila Sutta Goswami continued. Thus, learned men describe the births and activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the heart. Purport. Both the Lord and the living entities are essentially all spiritual. Therefore, both of them are eternal, and neither of them has birth and death. The difference is that the so called births and disappearances of the Lord are unlike those of the living beings. The living beings who take birth and then again accept death are bound by the laws of material nature. But the so called appearance and disappearance of the Lord are not actions of material nature, but are demonstrations of the internal potency of the Lord. They are described by the great sages for the purpose of self realization. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord that his so called birth in the material world and his activities are all transcendental. And simply by meditation on such activities, one can attain realization of Brahman and thus become liberated from material bondage. In the Shrutis, it is said that the birthless appears to take birth. The Supreme has nothing to do, but because he is omnipotent, everything is performed by him naturally as if done automatically. As a matter of fact, the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his different activities are all confidential even to the Vedic literatures. Yet they are displayed by the Lord to bestow mercy upon the conditioned souls. We should always take advantage of the narrations of the activities of the Lord, which are meditations on Brahman in the most convenient and palatable form. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, here in the previous shloka, we saw that only after we become free from the influence of Maya, we can understand who are we can attain self realization. Now, here it is said how to become free from the influence of Maya, right? Very simple method. What is that? We should simply hear about the descriptions of the activities of the Lord. Here it is said, Evam Janmani Karmani. Evam, thus. Janmani means the birth of the Lord in his various incarnations. Karmani means his activities, his wonderful activities. And Akartur Ajanasya cha. Akartuhu means one who is inactive. The Lord is described here as Akartuhu, one who is inactive. What is the meaning of this? He has nothing to do. He is not obliged to do any activity. Therefore, he is called Akartuhu. All of us, we are forced by the three modes of material nature to act. As we understand in the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. Kshanamapi, even for a moment, we cannot be without doing any work. Akarmakrit, we cannot be doing without doing any work because the three modes are always actively influencing us, isn't it? By the influence of the three gunas, we are forced to do different kinds of activities, right? So, therefore, another reason is also there. In the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, towards the end, Arjuna asks a question to Krishna. uh, what is that which forces a living entity to commit sinful activities much against his wish? Sometimes we don't want to act sinfully. We know what is this is wrong, but there is some force which is making, compelling us to act. What is that? Arjuna asks. And Krishna replies, Kama yeshu krodha yeshu rajoguna samudbhava. He says it is kama, lust, which is forcing us to act even against our will. Now, but for as far as the Lord is concerned, neither kama nor the three modes of material nature are the reasons for his activities. In fact, the Lord is called Purna Kama. Purna Kama means all his desires are fulfilled just by his wishing. He need not have to go personally do put some endeavors to satisfy his desires. So the Lord is complete in himself. He is completely satisfied. He is also called Atma Rama, completely satisfied. That is why the Upanishads say that for him there is no prescribed duties. For the Lord, there is no prescribed duties. There is no designated work that he is supposed to do. He does not have to do any duty. For us, it is there. Why it is there? Because we have so many desires to fulfill, and therefore we follow. We want to do this, we want to do so many activities so that our desires are fulfilled. But for the Lord, it is not like that. Therefore, here the word is akartuhu. Akartuhu means he has no work to do. In other words, he is materially inactive. He is materially inactive. That means in the spiritual world, just now we understood that the Lord has got nothing to do. And then what is the Lord doing in the spiritual world? He must be having a lot of free time. What is he doing? If he has no prescribed duties, if three modes are not compelling him to do any work, if karma is not the cause of his work, then what is he doing in the spiritual world? Is he simply sitting idle? No, the scriptures inform us that he performs his eternal leelas just to give pleasure to his devotees. Leela means that which is done effortlessly, that which is a pastime, which is done without external endeavor, separate endeavor. So he does his leelas. So the Lord, even though he is akartuhu, he has no prescribed duty to perform, but he performs various leelas just to enhance the pleasure of himself and his devotees. So we have to understand that. So that is a context of this word akartuhu. If the Lord is akartuhu, then Bhagavatam is describing so many activities that Krishna performed. Why is he performing all these activities? He is performing these activities to give pleasure to his devotees, not to achieve something. We all work to achieve the result and to enjoy the result. But Krishna has no such thing to do. So that is very important. And then he is also called Ajanasya. Ja means to take birth. He is Aja, means he is unborn. For him, there is no birth. But still, the Lord appears in this material world. If you read the first canto, 8th chapter of the Bhagavatam, Kunti Maharani's prayers, one of the prayers, Kunti Maharani is expressing her astonishment. Oh Lord, you are Aja, you are unborn, but still you have appeared in this material world. Why you have appeared? Yeah, the great devotees say that you have appeared here because Lord Brahma prayed. All the devatas prayed, oh Lord, come and appear in this earthly planet and relieve the burden of Mother Earth because of the demoniac kings, their activities, atrocities. Mother Earth is overburdened. Oh Lord, you please come, appear in this material world, in this earthly planet, relieve the burden of Mother Earth. Answering their prayers, you have taken birth in this material world. Otherwise, you are Aja. You have no birth, but you have appeared in this material world. And Kunti Maharani says, still other devotees say that Devaki and Vasudeva in their past life, they performed severe austerities and they wanted you to have their son. In order to satisfy their desire, you appeared in this material world as their son. Otherwise, you are Aja. You are Aja. You have no material birth, your eternal personality. But in order to satisfy the desires of your devotees, Lord Brahma, Devaki, Vasudeva, and all this, therefore you have appeared. So Kunti Maharani very nicely explains that. So even though the Lord is Aja, he appears in this material world for special purposes. Right? Therefore, here it is said, Evam Janmani Karmani Hi Akartur Ajanasya Cha Varnayanti. Varnayanti means they describe. Varnayanti means to describe. Sma Kavayaha. Sma means in the past. Kavayaha means the learned devotees. So you are unborn, but about your appearances, great devotees have described. You have no prescribed duty to perform, but about your activities, great learned devotees have described in the past. Hmm? And these descriptions are what? Veda Guhyani. Guhya means confidential. These are confidential even to the Vedas. This is very important. Now, the Vedas describe about the Lord, but the personal activities of the Lord, his Leelas, even the Vedas cannot understand. In the 10th canto Bhagavatam, if you read in the Krishna book, there is a big chapter towards the end. Prayers offered by personified Vedas. Very big chapter. And there, the Vedas, the four Vedas, they appear as four personalities and they start describing, glorifying the Supreme Lord. And the Vedas themselves say, my dear Lord, we don't understand you. See, Veda means knowledge. By studying the Vedas, we get to know about the Lord, something. Of course, it is not possible to understand everything about the Lord, even by studying the Vedas, right? But the Vedas themselves are saying, oh Lord, your activities are so bewildering, we cannot understand your activities. We don't know about your activities. In the Brahma Samhita also it is said, Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. Even for the Veda, even after studying the Vedas, understanding the activities of the Lord is Durlabham. Durlabham means it is very difficult, it's not easy. But Adurlabham Atma Bhakto, if one becomes Atma Bhakta, if one becomes a fully surrendered soul at the lotus feet of Krishna, for such a person, the Lord and his activities are Adurlabham, very easy, Sulabha. In the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying this. If you somehow remember me constantly, Tasyaham Sulabha Partha, Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha. Krishna is saying, if you always remember me by chanting my holy names, I become easily attainable. Sulabha. Sulabha is the opposite of Durlabha. Labha, Labhya means to achieve, to get. Sulabha means easily achievable. Right? Durlabha means very difficult to achieve. So even after studying the Vedas, it is not possible to achieve Krishna. But if one becomes a devotee of the Lord and surrenders to Him in full humility, then for such a devotee, the Lord is Sulabha, very easily attainable. So here it is said, Veda Guhyani, these activities of the Lord are not understood even by the Vedas. And He is called Hritpatehe, the Lord of the heart. So again, let us read the translation. Thus, learned men describe the births and activities of the unborn and inactive which is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the heart, Hrutpati. He is the Lord of the heart. He is the Paramatma seated in our heart. So, uh, Prabhupada is saying both we and the Lord are spiritual. The living entities and the Lord, both of us are spiritual. And we are eternal. So none of us have birth and death. Actually, living entity is also aja, unborn. Soul is not born, isn't it? In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains this. Uh, while describing the qualities of the soul, Krishna says the soul is unborn, eternal, primeval, undying. These are all the characteristics of the soul. So, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, the soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is unborn, he is Aja. In the same way, soul is also Aja. But there is a difference. Prabhupada is saying the difference between the so called births and disappearances of the Lord are unlike those of the living beings. We currently undergo birth and death because of the laws of nature, but the laws of nature do not act on the Lord. But the Lord appears in this material world out of his internal potency. There is a difference between our activities, birth and activities in this material world, and Krishna's birth and activities in this material world. So, therefore, since the Lord's birth and activities are not because of the influence of external energy, but he is coming by his own internal potency, therefore, the great sages are glorifying the appearance and activities of Lord Krishna. So that by hearing these glorifications, we become uh, self realized. So, just by hearing the activities of the Lord in the Parampara system, we can understand, we can begin to appreciate the Lord's specific position and our position as servants of the Lord. How the Lord, even though he has got nothing to do, Natasya Karyam Karanam Cha Vidyate. Upanishad says, Natasya Karyam Karanam Cha Vidyate. For the Lord, there is no prescribed duty. But still he comes to this material world. Why does he come? Out of his love for his devotees. Lord Narasimhadeva appeared from the pillar, hmm, and he fought with Hiranyakashipu, killed him. He need not have to come like that. He can just be in Vaikuntha and the Lord can just desire. Within his mind, he can make a sankalpa, let this fellow Hiranyakashipu die. If he just thinks like that, Hiranyakashipu will be spot dead in the next moment only. That's why the Lord is called Satya Sankalpa. Whatever Sankalpa he makes, that comes to be true, Satya. No one can oppose his desire. Therefore, he is Satya Sankalpa. But still, the Lord came from the pillar. Why he came? Why he displayed such a great transcendental anger? Because of his affection for his devotee Prahlad Maharaj. So the main purpose of Lord Narasimha's appearance is not killing this demon Hiranyakashipu, but to display his transcendental affection towards his dearmost surrendered devotee Prahlad Maharaj. Same is true with all other incarnations also. You know, Krishna, when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, he killed so many demons, but that is a side business of Krishna's appearance. Killing demons in Vrindavan and other places later on. They were all not the main functions of Krishna's appearance in this material world. Main function was to display his unconditional love for his devotees, for the surrendered souls. So, when we study these activities of the Lord as described in the Bhagavatam, as explained by our Parampara Acharyas, as explained by our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, then we begin to realize, oh, even though Krishna has nothing to do, still he came to this earth and he performed so many activities just to show his love for all of us. How loving Krishna is. And what am I doing in my life? I have forgotten such a loving Lord, and I'm so busy, chasing after temporary material pleasures. What a fallen person I am. At least now, Let me turn my face towards Krishna. Let me start trying to love Krishna. Let me start rendering service to Him. So, this desire will come in our heart when we hear about the narrations of the appearances and activities of the Lord. That is why it will lead to self realization. Right? So, therefore, simply by understanding, we have to every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, every day we have to spend quality time hearing about the activities of Krishna. And in this way, we should become fully absorbed in Krishna. We must begin to appreciate Krishna is such a loving Lord. He is my eternal master. He's so loving. He comes personally to this material world and he has performed these activities so that I can get an opportunity to hear about his activities, his qualities, so that I can become attracted to him. How, even though I have forgotten the Lord is so merciful towards me. So we should have this kind of an understanding, this kind of a realizations when we hear Bhagavatam. Every day we have to spend. Prabhupada said, all my devotees, my disciples, should spend at least 1 or 2 hours every day reading my books so that you become absorbed in the transcendental subject matter. Prabhupada has described the transcendental subject matter in his books, and we have to study. We have to just not casually read, we have to study. Just like we have understood that there is a difference between simply chanting Hare Krishna mantra and mindfully and soulfully chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Both are two different things. In the same way, casually reading Srila Prabhupada books is one thing, scrutinizingly studying his books is another thing. Scrutinizingly studying Srila Prabhupada's books is what Prabhupada wanted all his disciples to do. He said at least 1 or 2 hours every day. Fix your mind, absorb yourself in this transcendental subject matter. Then we will actually be able to appreciate how Krishna is our loving master. Anybody who does not take interest in understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness will not be able to practice Krishna consciousness with conviction for a long time till the end of his life. If we have a desire that till the end of my life I have to be fixed up in Krishna consciousness, and day after day my conviction, my faith in Krishna, my love for Krishna should increase day by day, then we must read Srila Prabhupada's books every day. Very important. We should not compromise. We should read Prabhupada books every day. And just by reading, we can develop that conviction in Krishna consciousness. We can become fully absorbed in spiritual life. So, here, last sentence that Prabhupada is writing in the purport, we should always take advantage of the narrations of the activities of the Lord, which are meditations on Brahman, in the most convenient and palatable form. So Prabhupada is saying we should take advantage of this Bhagavatam. What is the meaning of taking advantage? See, on our own, we cannot know who is the Lord, how much He loves us, how does He reciprocate with His devotees. All these things we cannot know. But Bhagavatam is giving an opportunity. Yes, you study this Bhagavatam, you will get to know everything about the Lord. You will get to know how the Lord is so merciful, how does He deal with His devotees, how should a devotee conduct his life so that he gets more and more mercy and blessings of the Lord. All these things we will get to know when we study Bhagavatam. Therefore, Prabhupada is saying we should always take advantage of the narrations of the activities of the Lord. We should take advantage. Prabhupada says in another place, if you have 5 minutes time, don't waste. Open my books and read. Read Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavatam. Even though 5 minutes, it's okay, no problem. In between, you get 5 minutes time, just open my book and read. Prabhupada is telling. That means this is called avyartha kalatvam. A devotee, Bhagavatam mentions this. One of the qualities of a devotee is avyartha kalatvam. Even for a moment, he will not waste his time, because a moment of time which is lost will not come back again. And that moment which is spent in forgetfulness of the Lord is the biggest disaster. But that moment, even one moment, if we are able to absorb our mind in Krishna by studying Srila Prabhupada books, that is the greatest gift. That is the greatest gift. So Prabhupada says another place, just like a businessman, every opportunity, whomever he meets, he will think how to increase my business, how to use this opportunity to increase my business, to get more profits. That is a symptom of a good businessman. Prabhupada says, in the same way, a good devotee, what is his symptom? Even one moment he will not waste. Even if he gets one moment, he will either be chanting Hare Krishna mantra, or he'll be reading Srila Prabhupada books, or he'll be engaging in some form of devotional activity. We should not waste our time. So Prabhupada is saying we should take advantage of Bhagavatam, we should read on a daily basis, and we should actually become fully conversant with Krishna conscious philosophy, right? So that is why we are spending time every day, 1 hour, trying to discuss one or two shlokas, the purports, how to see these things, what we can apply in our life, all these things we are doing. So please do attend these sessions every day, and also develop a habit of reading Srila Prabhupada books whenever you get free time. Now you don't have to carry the physical books with you everywhere. You can read it online. You can have Kindle readers, carry the books anywhere. They're lightweight. Anywhere, all the books of Prabhupada you can carry wherever you go. The technology has given us that opportunity. So we should utilize, read. Even if you read one page, that's so good. That's a big gain. So do not miss. Take the association of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, I shall live in my books and you will utilize. So Prabhupada is living in his books and he is available to give us his divine association. We should not waste, or we should not miss out this opportunity. So therefore, let us take advantage of Bhagavatam. Here, read Bhagavatam nicely and become fully Krishna conscious. And by this, our intensity in devotional service will also increase. With this, we come to the end of today's session. Anyone has any questions or comments? Quickly, 1 or 2 questions we can take. Okay, no problem. So we will meet again. Okay, here is one question which is posted by Lakshmi Narayanan. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna. When one is transferred to the spiritual world, will that soul be marginal energy or internal energy? No, the soul is always marginal energy only, whether in the spiritual world or in the material world. The soul is always marginal energy. That will not change. Marginal means the soul has got a free will either to be under the influence of Krishna's internal energy or under the influence of Krishna's external energy. We have a choice. That is the meaning of marginal. So when we enter the spiritual world, that does not mean Krishna takes away our free will. We still have free will, even in the spiritual world. Because only when we have free will, we can voluntarily render service to Krishna. Because if there is no free will, there is no meaning of loving. Then it becomes robotic. So, love, for pure love to exist, free will is a very important principle, and all the residents of the spiritual world have this free will. So, we are eternally the marginal energy of Krishna, even in the liberated stage, even in the spiritual world. Another question by Jagannath Prasad. So internal energy is Yoga Maya, marginal energy is Jiva, external energy is Mahamaya. What is the position of Srimati Radharani? Right? Yes, Srimati Radharani is the internal potency of the Lord. She is the internal energy, internal potency of the Lord, right? More specifically, Krishna has got three types of internal energy: Samvit, Hladini, Sandhini. This is a little technical. When we study Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the purports, Prabhupada explains these. So, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, right? Three aspects of Krishna's existence. Corresponding to these three aspects, there are three divisions of internal potency of Krishna. Sat is called Sandhini, corresponding to Chit is called Samvit, and corresponding to Ananda is Ahladini. So Ahladini Shakti means the pleasure potency of the Lord. Ahladini Shakti is called pleasure potency. Pleasure potency means what? The ability to enjoy. We all have got pleasure potency, right? Limited, little bit. Krishna's pleasure potency is unlimited. Krishna's pleasure potency is so great that his pleasure potency is a person, and that person is called Srimati Radharani. So Srimati Radharani serves Krishna according to his desire, for his pleasure. Actually, there is no difference between Radharani and Krishna, right? There is no difference. Both are one. But in order to serve the Lord, Krishna's pleasure potency uh, has become a personality who is eternally serving the Lord, and that is called Srimati Radharani. No one can serve Krishna like Radharani. So, therefore, if we want to understand devotional service to the Lord, then we have to go through Radharani. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared as a combined incarnation of Radha and Krishna. In the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said the internal reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared was that Krishna once got this desire. He wanted to know what it feels like to be in the position of Radharani. Krishna thought, I'm always in the receiving end of seva, whereas this Radharani is always giving me service. Now, even though she is eternally serving me, every day she is actually, her enthusiasm, her joy in serving me is so great. It is increasing day by day. How is she able to do this? So Krishna himself is surprised by the service attitude of Radharani. So Krishna wanted to relish the position of Radharani. Therefore, Krishna adopted the mood of Radharani and he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combined incarnation of Radha and Krishna. So Radharani is the Ahladini Shakti, and hope that answers your question. One more question is posted here. Vishwanath Sujay, Hare Krishna. Where was actual Sita when Ravana kidnapped Chaya Sita? If so, why did Rama lament over Chaya Sita? Now, when just before Ravana came to kidnap Sita, both Rama and Sita had a conversation. And Ramachandra says, the time has come for the main purpose of our incarnation, which is to kill this Ravana. So therefore, you be protected by Agni, and instead you create a Chaya Sita. Let this Ravana be fooled, and let him carry the illusory Sita with him. And I will take you back from Agni Deva at the right time. Saying this, Sita Devi creates a Chaya Sita form from her, and the original Sita is with Agni Deva, and Ravana mistakes the Chaya Sita to be real Sita and takes her to Lanka. Now the second part of the question is, if it is really Chaya Sita which Ravana carried away to Lanka, why did Rama lament? For that, Bhagavatam is giving an example, giving a reason for that. Two reasons. First of all, uh, Ramachandra was playing the role of a human being. So he is doing his Nara Leela. Second reason is uh, Bhagavatam is saying very strongly, Lord Rama wanted to demonstrate what happens to a materialistic person, what happens to a person in this material world who is very much attached to the opposite gender. Stri Sanginam Gatimiti. So Ramachandra he demonstrated his lamentation to show to the whole world that if you are attached to your so-called wife or your husband, uh, finally it will lead only to lamentation. This lesson Ramachandra wanted to teach all of us. This is what Bhagavatam is saying, right? And of course, Prabhupada also brings another angle. He explains that actually there cannot be separation between Rama and Sita because they are eternal consorts, eternal associates. So, when there is a lamentation, just like the gopis of Vrindavan were also lamenting when Krishna left to Mathura from Vrindavan, that lamentation is also another side of spiritual enjoyment. The gopis were, that is a kind of spiritual enjoyment, thinking about Krishna always, 24 bar 7. So this is called Vipralamba Rasa. So if you read the purports to the ninth canto, 10th and 11th chapters, you will get more information about this. Prabhupada has very nicely explained all these things. Okay, the next question, last question for today. Can you please elaborate the term Hrit Patehe in this verse? It is also mentioned in the verse Krishna is undiscoverable by Vedas. It is only one give interest to Paramatma one can understand Krishna. Hrit Patehe means Lord of the heart. The Lord is present in our heart as Paramatma, and from him comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Without the sanction of the Paramatma, nothing can be done by the individual souls. We, the individual souls, can only desire. Our desires will be sanctioned by the Paramatma. Without the Paramatma sanction, simply by desiring, fruits will not come, result will not come. So, in that way, even for a materialistic person, the Lord is playing such an important role every moment in his or her life. Therefore, he is Hrutpati. And for a devotee, especially, he is Hrutpati, he is the Lord of the heart, because the devotee is fully absorbed in loving the Lord. He is rendering service to the Lord. Therefore, he is Hrutpati, both for the materialistic people and for the devotees of the Lord. And the second part, Veda Guhyani. Yes, even the Vedas cannot understand the activities of the Lord because these are all very confidential. So, therefore, um, the great acharyas, they explain, they write commentaries, they write explanation. What is the meaning of these different leelas of the Lord? Huh? Just by studying the Vedas or any Vedic scriptures by ourselves, we cannot understand what is the mystery behind the activities of Krishna. That is the meaning. So we need to follow the explanation given by acharyas in the parampara system. Only then we can understand. Little bit we will be able to appreciate about the activities of the Lord. Otherwise, there may be great Vedic scholars. They may even study all the activities, pastimes of Krishna. Then they may come to a wrong conclusion. Huh? Like many people say, oh, Krishna was a woman hunter. See, everywhere. He had 16,000 wives in Dwaraka. Like this. This is not the right conclusion. Why did Krishna accept 16,100 wives? Because they were all captured by Bhaumasura, Narakasura. And after defeating Narakasura, all these people, all these princes, they had nowhere to go. So they all surrendered to Krishna, and Krishna accepted their desire. And Krishna expanded himself. Bhagavatam very clearly explains that Krishna expanded himself into 16,100 forms and simultaneously married each of those princesses and lived along with them in separate palace in the Dwaraka city. So Krishna is wanting to show his unlimited capacity to simultaneously reciprocate perfectly with his unlimited devotees. Krishna is unlimited. Even in his reciprocation of his devotees' loving feelings, he is unlimited. So Krishna wanted to show this. Therefore, he did this Leela. So if a materialistic person reads, oh, Krishna married 16,000 wives. Oh, what is this? Uh, he is so lusty like this. No, that is not the right understanding. So Prabhupada says, yeah, Krishna is unlimitedly lusty. Krishna says, that is God. God is greatest in everything. Even in lust, nobody can beat him. So Prabhupada explains like that. So without proper understanding from the parampara, it is not possible simply by being a Vedic scholar to understand Krishna's activities. That is why it is called Veda Guhyani. Even the Vedas cannot understand the Krishna's activities properly. So that is the meaning. So very nice to know all of you have many questions. We shall meet again in the next session and discuss the coming shlokas. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय विश्व गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.